The first day of the 2025 NBA playoffs was an amazing way to start the tournament and for the most part played out as expected. However, we were left with one major question. Can the Minnesota Timberwolves actually beat the Los Angeles Lakers? Well, let's jump into it. It's important that we point out just how favored the Lakers are in this series. Everyone seems to believe Luka's thirst for revenge and LeBron's quest for his fifth title are going to be enough to will this Lakers team to the finals, so it makes tonight's outcome all the more unexpected and even more alarming. Now, this game from the very start did feel very strange. The Lakers were getting all the offensive rebounds. The Wolves had 7 points with 4.5 minutes left. LeBron, at one point I didn't even know if he was in the game or not. He had no points scored, no assists for the first time in his entire career in the first quarter of a playoff game. And with the way Luka was playing, it really felt like the Lakers were boiling up to just absolutely blow out the Wolves, but then everything just changed and it felt like an instant. By the time that second quarter rolled around, the Wolves were pretty much hitting every three they took, and you were seeing LeBron, Austin Reeves taking these kind of walk up, almost just weird standing threes that didn't really make too much sense. Didn't feel like there was much flow to their offense. It just felt like the energy wasn't there. But at the same time, on the opposite end of the court with the opposite guy, Anthony Edwards, that man was hunting. He was looking to take people's souls, dude. That one crossover he had on Rui that almost turned into a dunk, that was everyone's wake up call that Anthony Edwards was not playing around. He was here to win that game. And Anthony Edwards wasn't the only reason they were dominating that game. On defense, Rudy Gobert was absolutely tormenting any Laker that came at him in the paint. And it was the first time in my entire life that I've seen LeBron actually look small on the court. That was up until that chase down block he had, which then reminded me that he's an absolute boss even at 40 years old. But again, I couldn't help but feel that the Wolves were just pushing the Lakers around. And again, that was a narrative going into this game. Everyone was talking about the size of the Wolves versus, just the average size of the Lakers for each position, their positional size. It turned out to be heavily favored for the Wolves because they were just dominating them in the paint, on the boards. Everything was going their way. And even though Luka hit that half-court shot to end the second quarter, going into the third, the way the third quarter started, it was an avalanche. It felt like the Lakers could just not solve anything that the Wolves were sending at the Lakers, which is the exact opposite of what I thought was going to happen. I thought the Lakers with Luka and LeBron would just have too much schemed up for the Wolves to overcome. But the Wolves' ball movement, it was beautiful. They kept driving, they were kicking it, they were making the last second pass, and a lot of their threes, they were wide open. And in the meantime, the Lakers couldn't buy a three, and every time they went into the paint, they couldn't buy a field goal either. If you look at the stats, the Lakers shot 39% from the field. That is absolutely atrocious. They shot 36% from three, which means they pretty much were able to take their shots out there, but anytime they got close to that hoop, there was no chance. Hit that subscription button and turn on notifications. But then Anthony Edwards went down with a cramp, and in that meantime, the Lakers went on their 20-8 run. But as soon as Anthony Edwards came back, he hit that beautiful fadeaway that was just nothing but net, and it was just like, okay, I think Anthony Edwards he's here to put this game away. And that's exactly what Anthony Edwards did. It felt like he made every correct decision every time it presented itself. Of course, it helps with Naz Reid, Jaden McDaniels, and Julius Randle all playing extremely well. I mean, the Wolves from top to bottom all played excellent. On offense, excellent. Defense, excellent. The Wolves came in there with a plan, and they absolutely dominated it. They punked the Lakers, which is what everyone's saying. But there are a lot of elements to this game that I'm not sure are sustainable over a 7-game series. I mean, the Wolves shot 50% from three. Austin Reeves and LeBron James combined for 35 points on 31 shots. That's not going to happen again. And for those of you who remember Game 1 LeBron, where people used to say he'd take the first game off, kind of feel it out, see what was going on, and then establish himself in Game 2 moving forward, well, you could certainly say this was one of those games. I mean, LeBron James, again, I didn't even know he was in the game in the first quarter. Something we have to take into consideration, but we really don't want to admit, is that LeBron James eventually has to slow down, and it's possible that it could be happening right in front of us as well. We could be seeing the star of Anthony Edwards begin to shine while LeBron James starts to fade out. And that is actually really sad to think about because, again, as much as you hate, as much as you love LeBron James, he means so much to the league, and it's that much more interesting when he's in it. It was like when Tom Brady left the NFL. You could have hated him all you wanted, but when he did retire, it made the NFL a little bit less interesting because the odds are your team still wasn't winning the Super Bowl, and now you had one less reason to watch the games. But let's just hope this is just one of those typical game ones for LeBron, and next game he bounces back. This game for the Lakers, when you compare it to how they played against the Thunder right before the regular season ended, that's the perfect story. That's the perfect picture for this team. Sometimes they can hit everything and look unbeatable, then at the same time they just look dreary, horrible, just out of shape and all out of sorts. Editor's note here, dreary? Dreary. What am I on right now, bro? I do think the Lakers' run at the end of the game is going to build their confidence a little bit, even if it was when Anthony Edwards was out of the game. And again, I don't see the Wolves going 50% from three again, but there is a lot of truth to the fact that a lot of the Wolves' threes were wide open looks. And if you have wide open looks, you're going to hit wide open shots. And if you listen to Anthony Edwards' press conference, that is an extremely alarming sign that he has taken the next step. All he cares about is staying focused, helping his teammates. That young, immature version of him that only cares about just getting dunks and looking good, it doesn't really seem to be there anymore. I genuinely was surprised when I heard him talking. Odds are this series is going to even out in game 2, but there's also a possibility we are about to watch Anthony Edwards take the next step, and his first victim is going to be LeBron James and Luka Doncic. What are your thoughts? Do you think the Lakers are going to come back in game 2 and even it up, or do you think the Wolves just have the Lakers number? Let me know in the comments who you think is going to win game 2. Alright, that's enough yapping for today.
You also sent a text message to your group before this series started. What was that message to your teammates? You know, we the underdogs, and be aggressive. Come out ready to fight. It's going to be a dog fight. It's going to be tough. Everybody got to trust their work, trust themselves, and they did that tonight. How do you guys get greedy and potentially win a second game here? Nothing different. Come out with the game, same mindset, and just be aggressive and try to throw the first punch and the last punch.
Almost every one of my channel's viewers is not subscribed to the channel. Do me a huge favor and hit that subscription button. We're trying to get monetized. My dog and I go out there and do something great.